Good afternoon from Melbourne and welcome to the Fyber CFO network. Today we are in the midst of exquisite golf course, which is Sandhurst, and the reason why I've chosen this venue is because my guest today is a passionate golfer, and he knows how to be accurate and perfect in his swings at the golf course, just like he had played a wonderful and excellent innings in his career. So welcome, Kal Desai. Kal Desai is the CFO at Beak Engineering. He has been a CFO, he has been a board member, a mentor, and also an entrepreneur. So a very versatile finance professional. Welcome, Kal.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Right, it's good.
Perfect.
It's a good venue and a good place to play golf.
Perfect location, close to my heart.
Right, excellent. So Kal, you have been working as a CFO for a long time.
Yes.
With Beak Engineering, which actually provides support services to aviation-related equipment on the Royal Australian Navy ships.
Correct.
So, and you have been involved not only in finance and accounting, but you have actually gone one step ahead, where you're looking after sales, marketing, IT, and operations as well. So you are a heavy-duty commercial CFO. So tell us a little bit about your career and your background and your experience of how have you transitioned from being an accountant to a commercial CFO?
Sure, no problem. So, I mean, I started my career now about 22 years ago in the traditional accounting mold. Went to university, did all of the stock standard accounting qualifications, and I began in sort of tax and business advisory. I think what I most enjoyed about that company was not the actual job itself, but learning about how other businesses ran.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of gave me the insight more to be more of a business finance person as opposed to a traditional accountant.
Wow.
So I'd done that role for about 12 months, and then I moved across into the commercial world because I realized the accounting practice industry wasn't for me. I wanted to be more heavily involved within the business. And I moved across to BHP Billiton at that point in time, and got to learn much more about how the business runs. Things such as cost of goods, revenue models, sales commissions, but also working with different departments, working with salespeople very closely, working with production people very closely. Mm-hmm. And it gave me a good insight in how a business runs, and I knew that's the accounting path I wanted to follow. Mm-hmm. Following my stint at BHP, I moved across to London to get some global exposure, mm-hmm. and ended up working within the telecommunications industry over there. Right. With Orange, so a very fast-paced environment, mm-hmm. And especially with the way the technology was changing with 3G coming out, but firstly 2G, 3G, moving towards data on mobile, international roaming, etc. The industry changed daily.
Sure.
And I think as a finance person, to deliver a good value service to my internal customers, I had to understand how the business ran.
Sure.
And a key area there was actually marketing and really understanding how they market a product. It was awesome. And then from there, I moved across into a global group called Metro International, mm-hmm. who worked within the print and digital media industry. Yep. And that further kind of enhanced my exposure to the commercial world. And one of the key pieces of advice that I'll always remember was actually my 30th birthday. Mm-hmm. And the CEO for the company turned up to work in the morning. He called me into his office, and my initial fear was, I'm getting fired. So he asked me to sit down, he closed his door, he came and sat down. He goes, Kal, I understand it's your birthday today. I said, yep. He goes, 30, right? Yes. He goes, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. You're now old enough where people will take you seriously, but you're young enough to screw up and actually bounce back. Wow. And it's one of those pieces of advice that's always stuck to me, and I've always given it to people as well.
Right.
And I think that kind of gave me then the opportunity to, you know what, yes, you're right. And at that point in time, I'd sort of asked him for more exposure into the operations world and not just the finance world. And that was my first exposure to really getting into I ended up joining the strategy committee of the company. I got to travel around to the operations within Europe and the US as well to understand how they actually worked and how things worked in different countries. Mm-hmm. And that was my first exposure to the non only finance commercial avenue.
Yep.
And that was brilliant. And I think, look, a lot of the I guess the opportunity to move from a traditional accountant to a commercial CFO is also the people you work with, and having them give you the chance to do it.
Right.
I then moved across to Abu Dhabi, and I worked for an MD who said, look, I'm hiring you as my finance guy, but you're actually my right-hand man. And he also gave me the opportunity to step into the MD role whenever he wasn't there as well, and he traveled quite a lot. So I got to cover as the MD of the operation quite a lot. And that, again, I got exposure to editors in chief, marketing teams, sales teams, and actually got to work with these guys closely, not just as the accountant or as the finance business partner, but as their effectively COO, basically. And that's continued on to Beak as well. Where kind of managing the sales function, managing the IT function, managing the administration function. So I think I see myself as not just an accountant, but a business person with a finance background.
Excellent, excellent. And I think it's very interesting because when you're working as a business advisor rather than a financial advisor, you're wearing multiple hats on you in your day-to-day work life. Now, the thing is that to me it's a delicate balancing act, because you have to balance your priorities between managing a finance function and be a trusted financial advisor, and at the same time coordinating and liaising with other functional departments and operational leadership to understand what their pain points are and to actually resolve them, to support them. Do you think that this type of a balancing act suits only to a certain type of personalities, or anyone can step into this arena who's got a finance background?
Look, I don't think anyone with a finance background can. I think you need the right mindset and the right personality.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit about you.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, as a CFO, you are still the gatekeeper of cash. You own all the delegation and authorities, and you need to make sure that you still stick to those lines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you need to be able to work with the teams to ensure that the strategy of the company is met.
Yep.
The guys can achieve sales growth. You're looking at mergers and acquisitions, and you need to be able to, I guess, broaden your financial mindset as opposed to just be the gatekeeper.
Correct.
So I do think it does suit certain personalities more than others. I think you need to have a little bit more of a risk appetite, a little bit more entrepreneurial spirit, and a bit more of a freer spirit, I guess. It's not just you need to at some points be able to let go of your your accounting mindset and focus on a business mindset.
Right. You're also running your own advisory, which is Silver Spoon Advisory, in which you offer virtual CFO services to small and mid-sized businesses. So tell us a little bit about what is a virtual CFO. What are the offerings that they have, and how can they benefit small and mid-sized businesses?
Sure. So I'll go back a couple of years, and where I guess I saw this opportunity was probably about 5 years ago now. I was the CFO for a company called Zawiya over in Dubai, and we'd sold the company to Thomson Reuters successfully, and it was one of the biggest exits in the Middle East at that point in time. After that, I guess I sort of had a name in the industry, more within the tech startup industry there with what we'd done, and I started getting approached by businesses for help. Obviously, they wanted it for free, but I saw the business opportunity here. So one of the things I realized is there's a lot of companies out there that are owner started up and still owner run. They might have a bookkeeper, but the owner sometimes needs a bit more, I guess, senior strategic financial advice or guidance, but also business guidance, right? 'Cause they need a shoulder to lean on at times.
Sure.
And I guess as an experienced CFO and business person, I guess I could help them with some of my experiences in the past, best practices, be it software, be it recruitment, anything like that. So I started working with a couple of companies a number of years back as a virtual CFO / financial advisor. And look, it worked really well for everyone. It gave me exposure to their business on a sort of anywhere between 6 to 10 hours a month. It gave them the ability to give me a call, send me an email, have a meeting, if anything was on their mind, and in terms of how they could structure something, how they could do something. It might be as simple as a commission structure for sales staff, incentives. It could be around salary packages. It could be around a contract. It could be around a new business opportunity,
Sure.
a business plan, or a board report. Without having the cost or the need for a full-time CFO. A full-time CFO doesn't come cheaply.
Yeah.
Having a virtual CFO for a set number of hours a month, gets you the CFO, function on a part-time basis for a fraction of the cost.
Sure.
And that's where, for me, it benefited the companies a lot. So I've worked with a number of companies now, both locally in Australia and internationally, and been able to provide the service. And I'd like to think it's worked well for everyone.
Right. I wish you all the best in your virtual CFO career going forward. I see a huge potential in there, and a good benefit for small and mid-sized businesses.
Definitely.
For having a person like yourself who is seasoned and experienced enough in finance and commercial side, and helping them out on in solving their problems.
Now, look, it's something I really enjoy doing, working with different entrepreneurs, working with different businesses, different industries, and the other advantage is you learn a lot from each of these different people, which hopefully you can pass on some experiences to others and help everyone succeed.
Absolutely. Wonderful talking to you today, Kal.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.